Joe?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I always forget that tortoise. I think it's a gopher tortoise there in Florida, but I filmed that on where beach was that? Maybe Sanibel Island. What's that little island that's like down south from you guys a little bit?
Yeah, it's Sanibel. Yeah,
Santa
or
was
Anna Maria, maybe.
It was Anna Maria. That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
We were visiting some friends on vacation. There he was. Just I've seen the gopher tortoises before, but they're usually like in the woods, the forest, whatever you would call it there, that like the pine palmetto scrubs, and
Yeah.
I never seen a tortoise on the beach. So I was like, let's take a picture of them.
What other? So I was recently in Gatlinburg, Tennessee,
Right.
and we came across a lot of elk, I think.
Oh, I actually know a little bit about this. They were elk or just big deer? I know there's a thing.
No, they were a big deer. They were something different, and
they're actual elk.
And then it was like, and then we saw signs for elk crossing and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't,
There's a big they were native to the area, and there's a big reintroduction effort. But there's actual I don't know what you call them. Do you call them herds? You don't call them flocks. It's not a flock of elk. A herd of elk, a tribe of elk.
I don't know. I barely knew they were elk.
Yeah, but they've been reintroduced, and they're really closely monitored. And there's a couple places in North Carolina that way as well. And it's actually a thing to go see them in the morning and be in the rivers with them. And the place in North Carolina that I'm thinking of, and it's terrible. I could think of the place, but I can't think of the name of it. But you actually have to hike in to where you can't really. You can't drive a car there. You could get a four-wheeler or whatever, but you can't really get your vehicle there. So you have to hike in. It's pretty pristine and preserved, lands and all that. But that's cool that you said you've seen them. You saw a lot of them. Yeah, they were all over.
It's funny that you say there was a herd or a flock or whatever. Right. It was when we were driving. We were right at the entrance of the Smoky Mountains. There was like a herd of them.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
There was a big group of them. Yeah. And it was kind of amazing because, usually you see a deer. Well, actually you see a deer in chunks, I guess. I call a herd of deer chunks.
A chunk. Yeah. You get your chunk. You got your chunk of deer. Flock of sheep. Right. Chunk.
Usually, I don't know. You see like a bear, and it's like, there's one bear, and then, but this was like, man, it must have been like 18 of them.
Oh wow, yeah, they're big animals too, man.
Oh my gosh,
yeah, they're big animals. That's really cool. That they're I'm really, if you were to ask me where one of my favorite places on this earth is, or whatever the right word is there, I would say the Blue Ridge Parkway, which the Blue Ridge Mountains come down and then they meet the Smokies, and where they meet and converge is right around Asheville. And if you go to the west of Asheville, you got the Great Smoky Mountains, and you go east and north, you got the Blue Ridge Parkway, and that area is just it's so majestic. It's so
I love that area. Yeah,
I love the area. And then the addition of the elks, talk about majestic, like elks in the fog in the morning, like doing their thing. I know it's a nerdy, geeky thing. I didn't see that coming this morning, but yeah, I love.
I don't think that's nerdy or geeky. I think that's cool. I mean, being out in the I went to school in Virginia, and that's right along the northern part of the Blue Ridge there.
Yep.
And man, just beautiful. I used to get out in the woods all the time.
Yeah, absolute national treasure, man. I don't miss too much of the things that I've moved away from and moving to Minnesota, but I would every year, even when I didn't live in North Carolina, every year I'd go to North Carolina, and I miss that a little bit. I got to find my way over there this year.
Yeah, definitely. So how about this week? What's up? What's up with you? What happened? What's your one thing, man?
I got lots of things, man. I got lots on my mind, lots going on. before I forget, a week from tomorrow is the Epic conference. That is finally coming to fruition, coming live. We're in the final production, planning, getting the things going behind the scenes for that. So that's Friday night, April 4th. That's a week from tomorrow. So I'm working on that. And then it's just been a cool week of like really enjoying some things in the community and getting to interact with various people. This is really something I'm happy and thankful for, but it's a little bit of a humble brag. There's a guy named Marc Bailey that lives up here in Minnesota, and he's been, I think he said 1991 was when he started breeding ball pythons. So, I mean, 35 years he's been at it. And I bought a snake from him, and I got to go to his facility and meet him and hang out. And what was really cool was first, he was a really gracious host, and he was great. But first thing he says was, "You want a cup of coffee?" And I said, "Yeah, that'd be great, man." And like, he takes the time to like make a pour over cup. You know, it's a 5-6 minute sort of you know, when guys go through the crazy thing of like opening a bottle of wine and they smell it and they pour it and they swirl it and then they finally taste it, the ritual.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like that with the coffee. And I'll tell you, Joe, I always take my coffee with cream and sugar. And I didn't have the heart to ask for cream and sugar after he made all those coffee. And it was delicious. I've never enjoyed a black cup of coffee like that. And it was great. And so we had coffee probably for like hour 15, hour and 20 minutes before we ever.
It's so nice.
Yeah, before we ever even went down to look at the snakes or the animals or anything. And just a really cool connection. And I know that it's weird. Locally, people, and I don't mean just locally here. I mean locally everywhere. I think locally people keep a low profile because we don't want the neighborhood to know that we got, you know, hundreds of snakes downstairs. Not exactly exciting for the neighborhood to hear this.
Yeah.
We all kind of keep locally low profile. So he's really well known industry wide and nationally, but locally pretty low profile. What's that?
What's his company? What's his brand?
It's just Marc Bailey. He's just him. That's
Marc
it.
Bailey.
Marc Bailey. Yeah, you don't have to say anything more. So, so anyhow, I had never met him. I never talked with him here in town before. And I say in town, it's, man, the metro area here is so big. It took me an hour and 40 minutes to get to his house. And that was on
well,
that was on a Saturday morning with no traffic. I mean, it's just a huge place. You know, I would have been from Jacksonville. I'd been mostly to Orlando by that amount of time. I mean, it's just,
what is he on, like on the north side or something?
Yeah, northwest part of town. So anyhow, that was a really cool thing, and we got to have good conversation. And I'll keep, you know, private conversations private, but I appreciate it. And shout out to Mark. He says that he does listen, and it was an interesting note. It was a great compliment. He said, he goes, "Yeah, I really like the Thursday morning show." I go, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Yeah, you guys don't." He goes, "You don't talk about reptiles. It's a nice break." He goes, "You're sort of in the industry, but I don't have to hear about reptiles all day," which is like. That's like a show within itself. Like, we get to do this, but not just be like drowning in reptile talk all the time. So anyway,
it is like the thing that you said, like you stopped, you had a cup of coffee, you talked. Yeah. It's kind of the vibe that we like. It's kind of the thing that we're trying to do. We talk a little bit about reptiles.
Yeah.
And I have questions, definitely.
But, you definitely. Yeah. So anyway, that was a great experience. I like that. And then I had another experience that really made me stop and think, and it gave me joy that there's a little bit of sanity left in this world, which is great. We could find some sanity and some, not even chaos, the chaos of the world, not the chaos of this topic. But I got to tell you, there's Chris Eaton from Snakes and the Fat Man. His website is the Fat Man Nation. I believe his name is Jay from Green Line Morphs, and Charlie from Reagan Renee Royal Pythons. Chris always does this either quarterly or semi-annual big fundraiser. There's always a cause that he's working on. He and I would proud to say, I think it was either like $700 or $900 that we raised on one episode for St. Jude's Children's Hospital about a year ago. And right now he's working on a project called Deeds, Not Words, which is really kind of a great mantra anyway. And that's to benefit something called Camp Freedom in Pennsylvania. And Camp Freedom, nonprofit organization, provides outdoor adventures for disabled veterans and first responders, including quality hunting, shooting sports, fishing, hiking, biking, and other year-round activities. These activities remove individuals from clinical settings into the healing environment of the outdoors and nature.
Wow.
And yeah, so, but it's not just like a, hey, give us money. Chris does this. He's a marketing and design guy to begin with. So he's incorporated some cool things, and at different donation levels, you can get different things back, kind of deal. You get little perks. And anyway, we've started to see throughout the industry these little cartoon caricatures of different people in the industry in military fatigues with this machine gun, and they're like their laser something scope, or a chat piece, like you're tactical and ready to go. And I said, Chris, I want to help out, but I got to admit, like, a caricature of me with a machine gun is probably, and there's sorry, I should say a rifle. It's not a machine, and it's a military issue rifle.
Yeah.
I said, I don't think it's any secret. I'm just not a gun guy. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm not trying to convince anybody of any different ideas. It just wouldn't be, authentic me. And I like being authentic me.
Yeah. And that's okay. That's good.
And so Chris goes, I got a plan. And I got to give a shout out to, there's, I've never met her, but there's a person named Haley that actually does the graphic design. So with the donation to the Deeds, Not Words campaign for, and what's the name? It's, man, I was right on top of it up to this point. Camp Freedom there in Pennsylvania. Check this out. Little weapon of love right there. A little gold top Les Paul for you. That's how we get stuff done, right? Pretty good, huh? So I thought that was pretty cool. Oh yeah, Bella Reptile had a good idea. That would have been fun too. Do a chef coat or a chef hat for the military halls. That would have been cool. So so I loved how this came out, and I thought it was cool. But I actually mentioned to Kelly because I enjoyed it so much. And she says to me, because she has a degree in counseling and she works in a civic dialogue role at a college. She says, I hear two people that got to know each other and trust each other, and they could speak and respect each other's thoughts and opinions and still respect each other. And I'm like, well, yeah, these are cool people. And she's like, yeah, well, the rest of the world could be that way a little better. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah. They could. So there we go. Proud to, oh man, I hit my table a little too hard there. I got a warning about my connection. Oh yeah, there I go. See if I can start myself again.
Yeah, while you do that, I mean, it's funny. This is kind of, I think I've mentioned I'm taking a graduate course this year, this semester, and it's been really fun to get into these discussions. And we read a book this week called Jesus and John Wayne, and
that's where the title's just worth the price of admission, huh?
Yes, yeah, and it was really an interesting read about the imagery that we make of ourselves, and it was a lot about like masculinity and like you know, being militant and or showing off a certain way of being, and how that can be constructed sometimes, and how or it's just like a part of who you are. And I thought it was a really great read. It was really interesting. Some things I agreed with, some things I don't, but I thought it was a really cool read. And that is really cool, because a lot of times, you project like an image of yourself, and especially in business too. And this business, you're such a part, who you are is such a part of your business.
Right.
And sometimes, if you show a certain side of yourself, like what I was going to talk about this week, I'll get to in a minute. But sometimes if you show a certain part of yourself, like people are dismissive of it, and they go, "Well, you're not the kind of guy that I like, or
Right.
I am, so you're different." And I feel like this is a place where people kind of accept each other because they have this kind of outside of the mainstream interest or
That's true.
life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it connects them on a different on a different plane than almost everybody else. So you kind of not overlook or you accept the differences between how people are.
We're already all weird if we're here in this place,
Right.
So like it's
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but also, like, even aside from any potential politics or philosophizing or anything, how simple is it to just say what a great cause? Like, when I read the cause, I'm like, man, okay, this is and this is something that my friends care about, and I forget how many. I don't forget. I don't make enough of a point of it. Sometimes there's a lot of in every industry, but particularly in ours as well, there's a lot of veterans, and we all have family in one way or shape or form. And even if we don't have family that have been veterans, we can appreciate that, for all the challenges we go through sometimes day to day, this is still an amazing place and an amazing country to be a part of. And so anyway, all that together, I thought it was a cool, whole thing. I thought it was cool. So, and now I have a little, Adam in fatigues with a gold top Les Paul guitar.
Little avatar. That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. That's great.
And I guess just to put a bow on it, guys, if you want to donate, go to thefatmannation.com, or you could check out Chris Eaton on Instagram. He'll point you to the way to do it. And I think this runs all the way through July 4th appropriately. So they're just getting started. And I've seen a bunch of these cool avatars out there, so I can only imagine the numbers that are being raised. And I'm sure Chris will announce that. That's his, or Chris, Charlie, and Jay. That's their initiative, and I'm so proud of those guys. But I can't wait to hear the results and what's going to be delivered to Camp Freedom. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, that's great. That sounds great. Awesome.
Yeah, what do you got going on this week? What's your thing?
It's funny. It didn't. I was thinking about this, and we had come up with this topic of personalities and how. And I've been thinking about just what I was talking about, like how certain things I am. I fit in, and then certain things I don't fit in to a particular mold. And
sorry, I was laughing because I can empathize. At the high school prom, I'm like the dude by the punch bowl, just like, yeah, I'm good. I'll just be over here, guys. I'm good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it's funny because the more you talk about this with people, the more, people go, yeah, I don't feel like I fit into
everybody understands
this weird. Yeah. And it's almost like everybody doesn't fit into this, to this constructed way of being that everybody should be or whatever.
Right.
But I feel sometimes I feel out of place even in my own family because I am highly emotional. I'm very, very emotional. Right.
Okay.
Like even in class the other night, I started to get a little bit emotional about things. And I was like, okay, I got to cool out. I don't want to start anything in this class where people are just sharing their feelings. We have to be objective historians here or whatever.
Okay.
So, but I do get the reason I know that I am very much more emotional than even the other members of my family is that, and what I'm talking about is my immediate family, Chelsea, Aiden, Raleigh, is that I can really get emotional when watching movies.
Oh, okay.
And so I really like at the stupidest stuff too, at the silliest, stupidest, dumbest stuff. Like sometimes even like Avengers movies, I'm like, okay, I can't think about this too much.
All right.
Because and maybe it's like nostalgic or something. Maybe it's something from like my childhood,
right?
Because I was like a comic book guy or whatever when I was a kid.
Okay.
But I came across, I guess it was Leonard Nimoy's birthday yesterday. And you
Oh,
know who
okay.
Leonard Nimoy is?
Spock.
He's
Yeah, I got
great.
it. Yeah, okay.
I'm not even like a big Star Trek fan. I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't. I'm not even. I remember watching it when I was a kid and watching the movies. I'm not like a Trekkie or anything, but I remember. On one of like my brother sent me this video of Leonard Nimoy. Leonard. No, I'm not. No, I'm just emotional. I am just a soft human being. So he sent me this like music video of Leonard Nimoy singing about Bilbo Baggins, which was really weird or whatever. So he sends me that, and then I go on my feed, and then there's a bunch of like Leonard Nimoy stuff because now I've watched a video.
Right now, you've outed yourself to the algorithm. Yeah.
Right, and the algorithm shows me the end of The Wrath of Khan, the second movie, which is when spoiler alert, Spock dies.
Okay. Dang. You've ruined it for me. What is it? Okay. Yeah. I guess I didn't have it in the list. Okay.
It's been 40 years. Okay.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it by now.
Okay.
So I watched this and I remember when I was a kid how sad it was when Spock died.
Wow.
And I'm sitting and I'm like in my bed and I'm just sitting because it was last night and I'm starting to like tear up because of the death of Spock. It was a hell of a thing when Spock died, which is a quote from Seinfeld, by the way.
Oh, yes.
It's a hell of a thing when Spock dies. It was, and I started to be like, this is ridiculous. Why am I like this? But why do I feel that way? Why do I go, no, I'm not supposed to be crying at this silly movie from 40 years ago. Like, but man, and I wonder, like, and again, it was something from my childhood that I thought was really sad. So it may have affected me in my older age. Like that might be a part of it from my childhood. But I wondered, and I wanted to throw this out to the people who are here. What are those? Do you all like tear up when you watch stuff? Do you all like get emotional? And what are those things that have like gotten to you where you get like you get emotional about? Like I watch like the movie Rudy, like that. Rocky makes me tear up. And I go, am I just unusual? Am I what Chris would call pregnant? Am I unusual, or do other people have these? And you don't have to be ashamed of it. I'm here. This is we're like
safe
this.
Space, circle of trust, right here. Yeah.
Oh, see? Okay. So here we go. Yes. I like that. Disney movies.
Okay.
Disney movies, really?
I like, I don't know. I admit, well, I don't watch many movies, and I don't think many I can't recollect like specifically tearing up over them. Although there are things as a dad now that I see on like, like if it's like usually on Sunday mornings, I think it's called Sunday mornings, the CBS show that's on that just has various just various stories about just who knows what, right. And they're poignant or touching, and there'll be something about a child that has cancer or a dad that experienced something, and there's days I'm like, geez, okay, I need to start my day with a little something different here, but I tell you what, though, I gotta say, Shawshank Redemption is pretty good. That scene, again, spoiler, where Andy Dufresne is working on his boat on a beach, and Red comes walking over the hill, and he just looks up slowly and like smiles at him. Oh, crushes me, just melts me every time, man.
That's awesome.
What's the name of it? Zewataneo. He makes it to, man. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. I need to it's been years. I need to sit down and just rewatch Shawshank Redemption. It's so good, man. I love the scene too. It doesn't make me emotional, but I love the scene where Dufresne asks the warden if he trusts his wife, and the guys hang him over the roof, and he's just like spouting tax law. He's like, well, because if you do trust her, you could give her a gift. And if you give her the gift, you won't have to pay taxes, and I can help you with that. Like, while he's hanging to his death, and the warden's like, bring him back. Like, he's just so good, man.
There was such a nostalgia to watching this Wrath of Khan too.
When was the first time you watched it? I know you said from your childhood, but
I don't know. Probably when it was on HBO when I was a kid. Probably 5, 6 years old.
Oh wow! Okay, so we're talking 40 years ago.
Yeah. It was a long time. There was such it just started to make me think, like, what affected me when I was a kid? Why did it affect me? And why does it affect me now? You know, that kind of, it's just a strange thing. And is that a part of what shaped my personality, or is that just a part of my personality that I was born with? I don't know. It was just interesting thoughts that I was having.
This is me just like spitballing here, but I feel like, I don't think it's any secret. We're both in our mid-40s. Got a little life under our belts. We got a little things to look back on, and with life comes some pain and joy and memories. And when something touches that, it probably means a little something more than maybe, as much as I thought I knew everything when I was 27, and trust me, I was on the top of the world when 27 was a good year, man. But looking back, I didn't know anything, man. I was an idiot, so maybe
that's why it's so funny when Seinfeld, George's wife, Susan, dies, and he's not like upset about it.
Right. He's like, yeah, she licked the envelopes. Yeah.
And then there's this moment when Jerry and George are thinking about the death of Spock, and they start to like get silent, and they start to, and it's kind of like, okay, we got to stop thinking about it because it's too emotional.
I don't know if anybody caught it. My opening on Tuesday night, I was talking about spring here in Minnesota, and I said, finally, it's legitimate spring. It's not this false spring we dealt with, little specks along the way. And I just yelled, it's real and it's magnificent. And I hit the movie. I hit the music, man. That was I don't know if anybody caught it, but that was my Seinfeld nod that evening. Little Elaine Bennett quote.
My gosh, this was and I've seen this come up a few times. The never-ending story, the horse scene, and the horse gets stuck. And he's yelling the name of the horse. Oh my gosh, it's terrible.
Yeah. And I'm not from. I don't. Yeah, I know of the movie. I'm not sure what we're talking about here.
Anyway, but it speaks to what we're talking about today, I think. But before we get into that, do you want to go look at you want to talk about the help that we get here?
Yeah, definitely. Now, I do have to say, Jeremy, and a local Minnesotan, he says it's too soon to call spring. It's going to be 73 today or tomorrow. I'm calling it. That's the leftover. Oh, a little snow. That's no snow. It'll be. I mean, there might be snow, but it's going to be gone in like 6 hours, man. Like, we're not even gonna have to shovel it. It's gonna be just enough for people's cars to get all sloppy again, and then they got to come back to the car wash, man.
I imagine the ground takes a long time to thaw out, so maybe it sticks. Maybe it sticks a little bit.
No stick.
No, you don't think so?
There'll be no stick. No. There'll be we'll have morels popping. I'm giving morels 6 weeks. We'll have morels here popping up, man. I'm excited. That's going to be great. So we got some really great help. One of them not only helps you keep track of all of your reptiles and data, they give some pretty good coffee mugs too. That's Husbandry Pro. Use the promo code PRoyals60. Get yourself 60 days free trial. Just as a small example, I have 11 females paired, and I have nary a notebook of notes anymore. It's just all bam, bam, QR code and enter in the data. So that is one of the things that I use Husbandry Pro for. They're very good to us, and check them out. And I do use a product daily. So, I mean, it's not just me spouting out an advertisement. Another company I use not daily but weekly is Cold Blooded Cafe for frozen rodents. Check out a reel I did on Instagram this week. It sounds, I know Joe always gets a kick out of this. You open the bag, you can smell the freshness, but the other thing I show you in there, not a speck of poop either. I don't know how you get all the poop off of rats. I don't know. They're not known as the cleanest animals. These animals that come in, they're always clean, man. So I really love the product. It's they're fresh, they're frozen fresh, and anyhow, Cold Blooded Cafe is who I use for my frozen rodents. Use the promo code PROPER11. Even if you've used it recently, give it another shot. They've reset the promo code. You have to be logged in with your email to get that. And Sundog Serpents, that's Sarah and Josh from down your way. You got to go hang out sometime, Joe. You got to check them out. Sarah and Josh at Sundog Serpents, they're out of Orlando. They vend all of the Florida circuit of Repticons up and down I-4. You could catch them there. You could catch them on Instagram as well. And they've been a long time, I would say customers, but really collaborators. I bought from them. They've bought from me, active in the Proper Royals Patreon. So go check out their Instagram. They always have animals for sale. And if you're, people get tribal about their Axanthic line and all of that. If you're into the TSK crowd, go check them out. They're your TSK Axanthic folks there, but lots of other projects, doubles, triples, and just a wide array of genetics as well. They've really spent a lot of time over the past 4 years building their collection. So Sarah and Josh, also good friends. So thanks for the support, everybody. Check out all these advertisers, and thank you to the audience for hanging out. I never really quite realized, like, Joe, you wouldn't believe the reach sometimes. Like, okay, there's 9 people hanging out, but it's also 7 a.m. in Central Time right now, only 8 a.m. So thank you all for being here. But it's amazing the reach. Tim Lee, people are like, "Where's Joe? When's he gonna get off his butt and come up to a show?" I'm like, I know, I gotta try and talk to him, but. All joking aside, there's a reach in the community, and it's fun to see this little thing that we've built here. So I appreciate everybody. Thanks for that.
Yeah, and it's great to be a part of it. There is a question here about Husbandry Pro and Morph Market.
From Morph Market into Husbandry Pro, I don't know. I know from Husbandry Pro into Morph Market is an absolute yes. I'm going to find out because really anything that you can export is going to come on a grid of a spreadsheet. And as long as you can define what the columns and the rows are, I would think so. I honestly, I'll ask Robert. Jeremy, I'll get in touch today. And oftentimes Robert is in the audience or watches the show too. So he can, obviously it's all just data. So it's not even whether the two things play nicely or not. I know you can definitely export the information from Morph Market. I'll figure it out. I'll find out. So Morph Market to HP, and probably to your point, honestly, go ahead.
The guys at Husbandry Pro, as I understand it, they're really susceptible to suggestions and things like that, and building things that people want. So even if it's not, I don't know, maybe they work with you.
Yeah, or they'll say, to Joe's point, they'll say, man, that's a good idea. We got to get that on the next update or innovation or whatever. So it's definitely not a static product, always dynamic. I'll find out. I will say, to Jeremy's point, the biggest pain point is entering that first round of animals in. But once they're in, it's honestly, I don't know. I know it sounds like a cheesy, like, oh, Adam's drinking the Kool-Aid, but like, I don't really know how I tracked everything before with now that I use it. I'm looking now, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was archaic. This, notes everywhere. And anyway, so I'll find out. I'll find out about that. Where were we going? I was going to start on some path, and then I got distracted again.
We were going to talk about different personalities on a team.
Yeah,
we were talking about certain ways that I am, certain ways that you are, and that's how true. That might not fit into a mold, and but it needs to fit to be to have a cohesive team dynamic. But I don't know any of those. Any of those? Wet your whistle?
Yeah. Well, so this is my year of like, I've challenged myself to want to collaborate in the industry. And the whole reason behind it was not only just to have like, oh, here's a neat thing Adam can say he wants to do. Good collaborations and good teams we always hear the expression, they're greater than the sum of their parts. I want to be greater than the sum of just me. So we collaborate, you work. And while there's things I don't like breeding projects drive me nuts. And I've never had a bad experience. It's not a knock on anybody I've done a breeding project with. They're just stressful. But there are ways to work with other people, Joe being one of them, or this epic conference being one, or finding new guests or going on other shows, all these, opening the door to it. And thankfully, I have not encountered this issue in our industry, but in life, sometimes I wonder, and I have encountered this a lot, and this even came up on Tuesday night show, which you guys should check out. Mark Mandick was on the show on Tuesday night. God, a legend. Go see that episode. Do we care more about skills and technical expertise, or do we care about, obviously we care about all the people, but do we care about the persona and the fit of the person? And it's something I've wrestled with 25 years in my career. Like there were resumes of people. I'm like, how can I not hire this person? And then I'm sitting across from them and I'm like, how could I possibly ever work with this person? like, so I thought it was an interesting thing. And just last night, excuse me, just last night, which this is a fun side story too. Charlie's on spring break. Kelly says, hey, let's go play trivia at the place. And she goes, Charlie doesn't have school. It'll be a fun family outing. I said, yeah, that'd be great. She usually goes to place trivia once a month, maybe twice a month, but it's a girls' night out. I've never been invited before. And I'm like, I like trivia. I know a little something about a little something. So let's go do this. Total bamboozled, Joe. You know what it was?
Why? What was it?
It was all the girls' night out. I'm like, oh, this is totally ambushed, dude. So anyhow, there was a person there on the team, and brilliant person, knew a lot. Not gonna lie. We came in second. I don't ever want to play on that team again. I'm good.
Why? Why not?
Oh, there was no air in the room. You couldn't discuss anything. You were immediately, you're right or you're wrong. And then like any conversation that I did try to start, the person was like eager to show that they knew more about it immediately. I'm getting like 6 words out, and it'd be like, oh, I enjoy Huck Finn. Oh, well, let me tell you about Mark Twain. And I'm like, look, man, I'm just having, I'm just trying to hang out and, play a little trivia, have a glass of wine. Okay, fine. So anyhow, it all got me thinking, and I'm like, how do we choose who we work with? And do we choose skills and expertise, or do we choose the person?
It's funny. I just want to stay on trivia for a second because
okay. Yeah, I know I went a lot of ways there. Sorry, I commandeered a lot. I just had to let it out.
It is, but there is like kind of an analogy there, because what is the purpose of trivia? Like, what is the goal of that night out? And if that differs on a trivia team, then you probably are going to have some problems. Because, and I go to trivia a lot. I really like trivia, like going to doing pub trivia and stuff like that. So, but if there's somebody on the team and their goal is to win trivia, that's different from somebody who's on the team who has the goal of having a good time and being with friends. And those two personalities, they need to kind of get together on what the point of the whole endeavor is, which is a good analogy for putting together a team. And that if they're both working towards the same end, then maybe they can get along and work together on stuff.
Yeah. Jeremy says we call those guys one-uppers. Yeah, it's exactly what so nailed it. So Joe, to your point, I think there's a sweet spot. because I'm very competitive. I want nothing but to win. I didn't go there to, I wanted to do the other stuff, but I went there to win. But this was a kind of collaboration where the question could have been, what color is the sky? And I would have said blue. And the person would have been, well, you know, and I'm like, okay, how about, is it, can we agree that it's Wednesday, or would you like to argue that depending where we're at as the world spins, that we could be across the date line? So yeah, it's like, good God.
But there is that's like building a team for like a social event as would have to be different than building a team for getting something done. Like if you're building it, that's where the analogy breaks down, I think.
Yeah. And like for a one-off, and it wasn't nearly as bad as I'm exaggerating things now for the sake of demonstration. God forbid they're watching, you know? So, you know, for a one-off thing that doesn't matter, fine, I get through it. Yeah. But in a work setting, that's a situation where I would have had to say, especially in where I'm used to being in a leadership role, where I would have had to say, hey, let's talk privately for a second. Mm-hmm. You got to leave space in the room for other people's opinions. You might be right 100% of the time, and you bring an incredible value, but that's only true on factual technical stuff. If it comes to creative brainstorming and you don't leave space for somebody else to speak or to have a voice, they're just going to shut down. They're just going to go away, and you're going to think you're doing it all, and you're going to think you're amazing. But what you're missing out on is listening to the other people in the room that on questions that we don't know, or problem solving questions, you got to just talk through stuff. You just got to throw stuff out, and something that one person says is going to trigger something that another person thinks, and we're going to land on the conclusion. And that's where skills and technical stuff falls apart. You know, so like I used the expression the other night, you can't just have a great personality and decide you're going to build a rocket to the moon. It's probably not going to work. You might have a great personality and be able to do it, but that's not going to get you there. Whereas few people with a great personality could really come up with great marketing, outreach, connection, networking schemes that will be far better than what this person was dealing with.
Right. And it's the dichotomy of sensing versus intuition. Like a sensing person is going to be, this is what I know from the past, and this is what works. And you need that knowledge. You need that detail. You need people who are going to go, how is this going to work? And then you have the intuition people who are going, okay, let's think about what we could do. Let's just think outside of what has been done in the past. Let's think of new ideas. And that dichotomy, you need both on the team. Right. And but if you just have the sensing person, it's going to ground out or just stifle the intuition person. And then if you just have the intuition person, you're going to end up with a rocket that goes, you know, like this and falls on the ground. You know, so so you need both of those people. And you not only here's the thing though, you not only need both of those people, but you need both of those people to recognize that their approach is limited.
That's and
both that they need the other person. That's the thing that most people. So like, even if you go, most people on the team go, and we need different people on the team, blah, blah, blah. But each person needs to recognize that they need the other person, that they need the way of thinking that is opposite of how they would think. And they need to respect that other person. And if there's not mutual respect and about how the other person thinks, then you're I think that's when team dynamics breaks down. That's a really problematic thing.
You know, I had a rare occasion. I'm doing a gig on April 10th here in town with a band. So I had a band rehearsal this week. First time in years that I've rehearsed with a band. And there was a bit of that where somebody was like, we should do this song. And I was like, the hell did that come from? Like, that was not on a list anywhere. That's not on what we're rehearsing anywhere. And part of me was going, this is bonkers. And another part of me was going, I love playing bonkers songs in the middle of a set where people are like, what the hell is that? And I am a big believer that if the performers believe in what they're doing, the audience will believe in it. So all we have to do is just own it on stage. But I had to go through that thought process. And in that moment, I had to say, don't spoil this mojo that we got cooking here. You're going to have to roll with this and see where this goes, Adam, even if you're not excited about it. And little secret, the band that I played in since 2007 there in Florida, Spade McQuaid, there are songs that I've played since 2007 that I detest. The audience loves it. Spade loves it. The band does well. Doesn't matter. You got to do it all for the show and for the audience. So sometimes those things play into it. And I think it's also good to put ourselves in these situations where we have to realize sometimes you got to yield and find not only, and I don't really like the expression, the greater good, but you got to yield some of your personal instincts to find like the gem of what you're really presenting. What are we after here? Why are we doing this? Well, we're doing this for the show and for the audience. If we're doing it for anything else, then we should just be in a garage making music. If you're on stage, it's for the audience.
It's very easy, I think, to be dismissive of somebody who's different from you. And I think that's a growing theme it's even a theme in what we talked about earlier. It's a growing theme in our culture, is to go, I'm this way. And it's very good. There's an individualistic thing. Like, I want to, put my flag into the ground and go, this is how I am.
How it is. I know. Yeah, I'm the right. Yeah.
This is how it is. And then to be dismissive of somebody who is different from you by calling them stupid or calling them brown. I mean, when you think about even that dichotomy, those two different types of personalities, it's very easy for a detail-oriented person who relies on what has happened in the past and goes, okay, this is how things work. Right. It's very easy for them to go, you're up in the clouds. You don't know. Mm-hmm. You don't know. And it's very easy for the other way of thinking to go, you can't even think outside of your own brain. Right. You can't even go. So the one person who is a detail oriented person going, this is how things are going to work. And any new ideas is crap. That the other side is going to go, you're going to be stuck right where you are, even when the business that you're in is saying you need to change or die. And then the other person is going to go, what about this idea? It's very easy for the sensing person to go, you're up in the clouds. You're not going to go anywhere. You don't have the details to back your own ideas. Those are outside. It's so easy for us to do that. And we are taught to be that way. I think we are pushed into being that way as a society to go, I'm this way, you're that way, and it won't work together. When really the best teams are people who go, I'm this way, you're that way. I love the way you are. Let's work together because I need it.
I blame this all on the thumbs up. We used to have a thumbs up and a thumbs down. It's all it is. You don't get this thumb. We need the sideways thumb. That's pretty good. I want to hear more. That we need to give each other the sideways thumb. That's the thing. Because life is the sideways thumb, That's pretty good. I like it a little bit. I could hear more. I don't know. I'm not quite there. All we get is and now they got rid of the thumbs down because you get a little sensitive if it's a thumbs down. So now it's either amazing or it's nothing. It's not even bad. It just doesn't exist. Right. And indifference is even worse than bad, right?
And here's the thing: when I'm talking about this, it's the word that is really, really important is mutual. There has to be mutual expressed. It's respect. The respect can't just come from one of those personalities. It has to come from both of those personalities. Because if let's say I'm the idea guy in the group, and I respect that I need a ground, like somebody to ground me. If that person is constantly shutting me down without respecting new ideas, then I'm going to start to go, it's all emotional. I'm going to start to go, well, F off, man.
Yeah.
I have these ideas. I want to run with them. And the other side too is like, well, if you're not respecting that you need to be grounded, then F off. So it has to be mutual, that mutual respect that we need each other, not just I, as an idea guy, I need the grounding, or the grounding person is, I need new ideas.
You know, I have to admit, I got to a point last night where I was like, I hope this person's wrong. Like, I was rooting against my team just because I wanted them to get off their high horse and be shut up. And, and that's not the goal. But I've seen that happen in corporate setting. I've seen that happen in a restaurant where suddenly somebody that's not heard or respected then becomes a saboteur, you know, like they're working against you or swimming upstream, and you're like, hey, what are you doing? And they know that's not who they want to be. I know that's not who I want them to be. But honestly, if we tell people that they're important and that they're valued, and then we don't follow with our actions, that's where you start to find yourself.
This is it. I mean,
trivia is life, right?
I'm holding my tongue here because we don't talk about politics, but this is the conversation of our politics. I'm going to point out everything that you did wrong, and I'm going to point out everything that you did wrong, and I'm going to attack there, and nothing gets done. Nothing gets done to help the greater good.
Right.
We focus on different things.
But I will say that's what it's easy. It is easy, and it's probably accurate to say that, but that's also what we see broadcast to us, whether it's in media of the social world, the internet, or traditional media, because the other outcome is good people having good conversations, or
people working together
to
do something good.
Cartoon of Adam with a Les Paul, or part of what I've really enjoyed about this whole car wash thing is some of the people that I've gotten to work with. Like, I don't know if anybody's really caught on. I'm not really a construction manly kind of dude all the time, but I'm fairly handy. But it's pretty cool to be out. Like, there's something really fulfilling about like trade work, or working in the trades. And I'm okay at it. I'm not great, but working along, I'm painting or working on a door frame while the electricians are working on something yesterday, or I'm talking about, whatever, while the HVAC guys are there. And you start to realize when you have more than 140 characters or one post, and even in a 10-minute conversation, you start to realize, like, we're all just people trying to make it through life. Like, none of us know. We just know what we know. Like, we just know our daily thing. And some of us lost money in the stock market one day, and some of us had to buy eggs one day, and some of us are losing sleep because we're trying to convert a damn car wash to a reptile thing. And you just start talking to people, and you're like, oh, we all have something that we're dealing with or going through, or we're all, screwed up on some topic or another, or, like I say, life is the sideways thumb, man. It's I don't know, maybe we're getting there,
recognizing the sideways thumb.
We need that emoji. I saw Elias got the sideways point, but we don't see the sideways thumb. That's what we need a petition for a sideways. We need a t-shirt with a sideways thumb, man. That's what I want, right? That's going to be the thing, man.
Are there times when you've been on a team where somebody has surprised you by their contributions when you thought, I don't know why we have this person on this team?
Yes, big time. It's not actually, this is one of my favorite stories. I'll wrap this up with this. So I had gotten to a point in my career where my input was so valued that I put a proposal together for a $60,000 renovation so that we could put in this top of the line pizza maker. And we had this old school, and it was great. People loved it. We had this old school wood-fired pizza, blazing hot dude that, sticks the paddle in and rotates the pizza. And we called it artisanal, and it was neat. The problem was it was inconsistent. How many logs does one guy light versus how many logs another guy lights? And how does this guy turn his pizza versus that? And we were inconsistent, and inconsistency is the death of high volume restaurants. Mm-hmm. And so there's this great product out there. And historically, you could cook pizzas on a stone, like that oven that I just described, or they go on a metal conveyor through the oven. The metal conveyors are nice because it's exactly, 4 minutes and 28 seconds at X degrees every time. The problem is you don't get the flavor of the stones. Well, this pizza oven, actually, they made a conveyor out of stone tiles. So, it's primo. But to retrofit the kitchen and to buy the equipment and have it installed was going to be about $60,000. Mm-hmm. So I went through that whole pitch that I just did. People are loving it. Hurrah, hurrah. Very good. And the GM, and we're in a room with the accounting team, some of the other department heads, a board member, and the GM goes, Adam, who did you consult on your team about this? I said, well, me and Chef talked about it. And we've researched it. This is the thing. And he says, when's the last time you or Chef worked an 8-hour shift making pizzas? And I was like, I never have. I don't know. And it's probably been 10 years for Chef. I'm the director of food and beverage. Do you know my title? Do you know what I do? And I'm like, that's the executive chef. He's not slinging pizzas anymore. And the GM said, I'm not signing off on this until I hear the input from your guys on the line that are doing this for 8 hours. I want to hear what they like or dislike about it. And I remember being like, why do you pay me the salary that you pay me? What the hell? Like, I'm the guy. What are you doing? And it was a really, really great exercise because they had great input. I realized that even as the director, when the director has to run the kitchen, it means that things aren't going well. We're crashing or whatever the expressions are in the industry. So when I would step in to run the kitchen, I would take the reins and I would say, I want 2 people there. I want you there. Chef, I need you over there. And here's what we need to get out, because I'm not going back out in that dining room till we have things right. Everybody shuts up and respects me. That's great. Appreciate it. Thank you. What I found that day was we went to talk to the pizza guys, and they said, hey, Adam, every time that you think you're helping, the handle on this paddle is 6 feet long. The line is only 4 feet wide. So you're telling us to get 2 people over here. I can't pull a pizza out without elbowing this dude in the face that you've now stuck in my space because you think you're helping and taking over. And I'm like, oh my God, why didn't anybody tell me that? And they're like, Friday night when things are crashing and you're yelling orders is not the time to try and explain something to you. And I was like, oh, I'm the dude at trivia. That was me right there. And so it was a really great moment where I just said, I need you guys to tell me that, and I will respect you and I'll hear you. Sometimes I need to get things done, and sometimes it might not be nice, but if I'm truly hurting something, you need to say, this isn't helping. And so anyway, with their input, we designed the new layout, the new place. We expanded the line, and they didn't have to use those crazy paddles where they elbow each other in the face. And we drew a new diagram with arrows of how the pizza would flow. And to this day, that pizza oven is in that kitchen at that property in North Carolina.
It's funny, the most important part of that is that you had the ability to listen. You had the ability to listen and respect their position.
Well, I had to, but honestly, if the GM hadn't forced me, I'd probably in my ivory tower heady. I'm the guy that I'm wearing the bow tie. Of course I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I had to. I was forced to.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a great story to wrap up on. That's thanks for the conversation this morning, and hopefully, there's a few people in the chat mentioned some things, and I always love this conversation on Thursday mornings. That makes for a good rest of the day. That's for sure.
Gets the synapses rolling. I definitely had a moment where I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, I don't want to be up right now, and then here we are, man. This is great.
Yeah.
What do you? Well, I'm getting this outro together. What do you got cooking this week, Joe? What are you into?
I got to work through the weekend. It's crunch time, but also I got to catch up on some grading and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so, and I got a kind of a larger paper due on Tuesday, so it's just all work this weekend. So it's not fun.
Are you're taking classes and you're teaching classes right now?
Yes, I'm teaching 3 classes. It's tax season, and then I'm also taking a class. So I got to shut everything down right now. From this point on, it's just going to be work until Tuesday, probably.
Good for you, man. That's chasing stuff. You're always like, Adam, you got so much going on. You're making me look like a Boy Scout right now. Good for you, man. I don't know what that expression means. It means that I feel like it means that I'm not doing much. But anyway, good for you, man. Well, you got to see some daylight on the tax horizon, right? You got what, 19 days? The countdown's on?
Yeah. It's getting close. So, it's also my birthday on Monday. So
get out of here.
T-shirts welcome, everybody. Okay.
We do need to get Joe outfitted. Like, you want your brand on some far-reaching media?
And I got to tell you, it would be a big display. Okay.
That's true. Big billboard space available. What if somebody were to send you a T-shirt? What size would you be looking for?
That's double XL at this point. But
it's 2XL right now. Okay, I like it.
If you got an XL, I wouldn't balk at that. I'm working on it, everybody.
Okay. Hey, that's all that all of us are trying to do, man. We're just working our way through life, man. Well, Joe, happy early birthday. Focus on work, not the death of Spock this week. Stay focused, okay? Don't let your emotions get the best of you. I'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.